Oh, wow. This is not good. This is not good at all.
The WNBA just lost its golden ticket, at least temporarily, and the fallout has been immediate. Ticket prices are plummeting. Viewership projections are collapsing. Fans are angry. And leadership? Silent. Because what happens when you build your season around one star, and she suddenly disappears? We're about to find out. And for the WNBA, the timing couldn't be worse. Caitlin Clark's injury has officially pulled back the curtain. This league wasn't prepared for her rise. It isn't prepared for her absence. And it may not survive many more wake-up calls like this. Let's break it down. First, the injury itself. It's a left quadriceps strain. Not season-ending, thankfully, but serious enough to sideline Caitlin Clark for a minimum of 2 weeks. Likely longer.
This is not like the end of the world of injuries at all. I think what is so dark about this is that Caitlin Clark will definitely be missing a lot of basketball in a short WNBA season.
For a player who has never missed a game, 185 consecutive between college and pros, this is uncharted territory. And for the league, it's a crisis moment. Because Caitlin Clark isn't just a player in the WNBA, she's the player. And her absence isn't just felt on the court, it's being felt at the box office, on TV screens, in boardrooms, and on Wall Street. Let's start with the money. Ticket prices for upcoming Fever games have dropped 42%. That's not a typo. The average price went from $137 to $80 within 48 hours of the injury announcement.
Indiana Fever ticket prices to games over the next 2 weeks have dropped 42%. An average ticket price of $137 all the way down to $80. When it comes to the Chicago Sky game, that is the marquee matchup in the WNBA, and those tickets are crashing just as well. From $86 48 hours ago to $25.
The Sky versus Fever game on June 7th? That game was supposed to be a crown jewel. So much hype, they moved it from the 10,000-seat Wintrust Arena to the 20,000-seat United Center. Now, resellers are panicking. Prices have collapsed from $86 to $25. That's a 70% drop in just 2 days. And it's not just about who's buying tickets, it's about who isn't. Thousands of fans, many who paid a premium just to see Caitlin in person, are now offloading their seats, hoping to salvage anything. That's real-time economic damage. That's what losing your star looks like when you depend on her for nearly everything. And here's the part nobody wants to admit. The WNBA made this bed.
Where this really becomes an issue for the WNBA is all the people that flood into either Indianapolis or one of these visiting cities, paying all this money, paying up for tickets, and at the end of the day, deciding to not go, all right? Calling the whole trip off.
They built the season around Caitlin Clark, put her on every promo, every headline, every highlight reel. But instead of protecting her, they politicized her, resented her, let her take foul after foul with no whistle. And now that she's hurt, they want to act surprised? This is the cost. But the damage doesn't stop with ticket stubs. The real collapse is coming on your screen. Let's talk viewership. The last Fever Sky game drew 2.7 million viewers. It was the most watched WNBA game in over 2 decades. Why? One reason, Caitlin Clark. Of the 24 WNBA games that have surpassed 1 million viewers this year, 21 featured her. That's not a coincidence. That's a trend. That's a lifeline. And now, that lifeline is cut. Without Clark, those numbers are expected to drop by 60 to 85%, depending on the matchup. One popular prediction already floating online says it best. See you in 2 weeks. WNBA viewership will be down until Caitlin returns. Brutal, but honest. So what does this all add up to? A reckoning. Because new data from valuation expert Ryan Brewer just dropped. And it proves what fans already knew. Caitlin Clark isn't just important to the WNBA, she is the WNBA. According to Brewer's latest projections, Caitlin Clark's impact on the league in 2025 could surpass $1 billion. You heard that right. $1 billion.
Quote, if things just go as they were and we have expanded season of 22 home games with modest inflation. I'm looking at $875 million, Brewers said to NBC News about Clark's potential monetary value for this season. Quote, and I could easily see that eclipsing $1 billion on the economic impact of Caitlin Clark this year.
That includes TV rights, sponsorships, ticket revenue, merchandise, social media engagement, everything. And it doesn't stop at league-wide stats. The Indiana Fever, Clark's team, was worth $90 million last year. Today, Brewer estimates that number has jumped to $340 million.
All of this is good news for the Fever, which Sportico reported last year was worth $90 million, a bit less than the estimated league average. Brewer told the Star he believes the franchise is now worth $340 million. Wow.
That's a 278% increase. In 1 year. That's what a generational player can do. That's what a crossover superstar brings. Tiger Woods did it for golf. Serena did it for tennis. Caitlin's doing it for women's basketball. So the question is, why is the WNBA treating her like a problem instead of a solution? Why are certain players still bitter about the spotlight? Why is the officiating so reckless? Why does it feel like the league is afraid of its own success?
WNBA players weirdly have been fighting growth. Stop fighting the truth. Get out of your own way. It is a bad look. She is a fascinating player, and it must be exhausting. Hating new cool things.
Let's call it what it is. A leadership failure. There are players, still, who resent Clark's popularity. They feel eclipsed, overlooked, rewritten in their own sport. But that resentment is eating away at the league's future. Because Clark isn't the enemy. She's the catalyst. And instead of protecting her, they let it build.
I just hope she doesn't get injured by all these fouls. She's already injured. Well, we've talked about that, right? In the past, we've talked about that. How devastating any injury that gets her actually taken out of a regular season game. How much money in loss is that for the league?
We've seen players publicly call out how many national broadcasts Clark gets, ignoring the fact that her games deliver the numbers. We've seen media narratives blaming toxic fans and bad vibes instead of celebrating a new wave of supporters. And worst of all, we've seen what happens when the league refuses to officiate fairly. In Clark's last game before the injury, the Liberty were allowed to take liberties. Literally. There were no calls. Hard fouls, ridiculous physicality, it was blatant. Even Stephanie White, the Fever's head coach, couldn't hold back. I thought she got fouled. It's been pretty egregious what's been happening to us. The disrespect has been unbelievable. That's not fan bias. That's a professional coach calling out what's become undeniable. The league's biggest star isn't being protected. And now, she's hurt. If that doesn't spark change, nothing will. But here's where it gets interesting. Caitlin's absence might actually increase her power, because now the league has to stare into the void. No packed arenas, no sold-out merch, no viral highlights, no three-point daggers from the logo. And it hurts. Every day she's out, her leverage grows. Every game she misses, the league feels the difference. Every dip in ratings becomes a statistic with one glaring cause.
But if anything, this should be a lesson to the league and a lesson to the officiating, because the amount of contact that is allowed without a foul call and the amount of physicality that Caitlin Clark has to battle through being double teamed and triple teamed, and honestly, it's mostly just not being called for these fouls, needs to be assessed. Caitlin Clark is the league's star player, whether you like it or not.
She didn't just elevate the league. She exposed how little they were prepared to handle growth. But don't worry, Clark will be back. She's already practicing, shooting threes, smiling, resting, recovering. Her quad strain isn't career-threatening, it's a timeout, a breather. And when she returns, she'll be better. She's going to come back with something the league has never seen. Undeniable proof that she matters, that she was the momentum, that the WNBA isn't even close to ready for life without her. So what now? Will the league evolve? Will the leadership step up? Will the officials finally start calling games like they mean it? Or will we go back to the same cycle, resentment, bias, and sabotage? The WNBA has a choice: protect its future or lose it. The silver lining here is Caitlyn's power only grows. The longer she sits, the louder her absence becomes. The league just got a preview of its worst-case scenario. And fans? They're taking notes. This isn't just a footnote in her rookie season. It's a warning shot. A glimpse into what's at stake if the league doesn't change. A moment of reckoning for veterans clinging to the past. A moment of clarity for the front office still fumbling with vision. Because when the most valuable player in league history gets hurt, after months of one-sided calls and media hostility, and everything immediately collapses, that's not a coincidence. That's the cost of arrogance. If you care about the future of women's sports, don't just scroll. Like this video to support fair treatment for all athletes. Subscribe for honest updates the mainstream won't touch. And drop a comment below. Should Caitlin Clark be made part owner of the Fever? Is the WNBA finally ready to change? We'll be watching the league's next move very closely, because this story, it's far from over. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.